Hello again, folks. On to the next project. This assignment is a gig poster for Dave Matthews Band for a show they're doing in Huntsville, Alabama in May. I sent in a bunch of sketches, and the concept for this sketch was a play on the space and rocket and space camp that they have in Huntsville is famous for. So I decided to draw a rocket ship to refer to that sort of, kind of. Also, rockets are fun to draw, so I'm a big science fiction fan, so it's kind of fun to research all the mostly vintage spaceship design, but also just the more contemporary spaceship design, which is really, really fun to look at. As you can see, I've gathered my reference for some inspiration. To, usually what I end up doing is once I get my concept down, I'll just go on the internet and I'll just kind of research spaceships, whatever, vintage. Vintage is a good keyword for what I like anyway. But also, modern interpretations of spaceships are really cool these days. So you can see all the reference I kind of collected. And what I do is I surround my page, my artboard, with all that reference. I used to print these things out back in the old days, but I would just go through so many ink cartridges. So thankfully with the Wacom, I could just import the JPEGs. So yeah, here's all the reference I kind of collected. And what I like to do is once I get the reference, if I have good reference, I can refer to it very quickly if I just kind of lay it around the perimeter of the sketch. So if I want to know what something looks like, it's right there for me to look at. So what I have here is the sketch, and I have the opacity down. Let me find this sketch. So that's what the sketch was like. And I like to, when I can, I like to incorporate the name of whatever band it is creatively within the illustration itself. It's not always my solution, but for this one, I think it works pretty well. So the thing about this design, I've chosen to design it in a way that I can do this in basically 2 colors, maybe 3. I'm thinking about trying to do a glow-in-the-dark ink for the rocket and for the moon, and the stars. I think that'd be I've never done it for a poster, so it'd be kind of cool. Hopefully it can be done for this design. So what I did is I kind of changed the opacity, bumped the opacity way down, and then you could see right now, I'll let you see the time lapse super fast drawing skills. So here they go. All right, well, that was pretty fast, right? This is what it turned out to be. I just basically, when I'm sketching like that, I'm just when I start off with the basic design, like I showed you the sketch, and then now I can refine that sketch, which is where it is now, just putting all the scaffolding and just the fun mechanical things around a launching pad. It's pretty much made up, but it does have reference to, which is a kind of a good way to have a good reason to have like this stuff. I can kind of refer to some of this scaffolding and launch pad stuff, funky stuff there. So anyway, so I use that reference for inspiration for some of this stuff. And of course, I live in Atlanta, so there's a ton of construction cranes around here, so I'm very familiar with what they basically look like. I wanted to have some of these structures in here. I think I will keep them kind of rounded off, futuristic buildings, a little bit Star Wars, I guess, but I think that rounded shape kind of fits in with the rounded shape of the curvature of the rocket itself, or the spaceship. So yeah, so I kind of incorporated that rounded shape and your typical scaffolding and nice little details that I can eventually add to it. This is still in rough form. I don't want to go any further I don't want to refine this drawing yet until I want to kind of color map in the two colors, which will be, for now, I think a blue and a black. And then the paper will be the rocket. And basically the scaffolding will be black, and then the sky will be black and blue. But I think I can really use the paper very well in this design as a focal point, the color of the paper as the focal point. So what I'll do is I'll bump that way back. And also for this design, I'm not going to focus on a key line as I've done for other designs, like just think coloring book, black line, everything outlines in black. I'm going to work with some black line, but a lot of it will be just contrast of blue against the paper color to show form. And that kind of creates a kind of a unique style, and it takes advantage of essentially a two-color poster design. So what I'll do is I'll go and select my my blue color. As I said in the past, it's so easy to change colors, but you got to start somewhere, right? So I'm going to start with this slightly muted blue color, and then I'm going to go back from my sketching pen to my sketching pencil to my pen tool. Also, yeah, I'm in Corel Painter, by the way. I like Corel Painter, works like Photoshop. I'm used to these brushes in here for sketching and for drawing, so that's what I use. Okay, so I'm going to go onto a different layer for my blue. So when I'm doing this, I'm just basically, I'm going to go underneath the line work so I can see what I'm doing better. So basically, I'm just really just loosely mapping in where the color is going to go on this thing. So increase my brush size. So yeah, so I'm very, like I've done in the previous videos I've done, very quickly. Something happened here. It's on the wrong layer. Oops. Oh, I know, sometimes Corel Painter is a pain in the ass. Okay, I'll go back to this layer. So that allows me to see the sketch a little bit, so I can kind of know where I'm going with this. Okay, so mapping the color in, so I'm going around the spaceship. Remember, the spaceship's going to be the color of the paper, which is an off-white. And like I said before, it might be glow in the dark, because I've never done it before for a poster, so why not try on this one? Okay, so just outlining this, kind of get an idea of, I know I definitely want the spaceship to be the paper color and some other things as well, but I just basically doing this as a plan of attack when I start doing the final execution of a technique on this. So coloring. So blue, as you can see right now, is a big part of the design, but that's just, because I'm blocking it in really quick, but it is a big part of it. So there is the blue, and maybe I can see this being, as I'm going, I've been doing this long enough where I kind of know, as I'm sketching, as I'm doing this sketch work, I know that I knew ahead of time that I wanted to do this in two colors, so I'm creating opportunity to let the paper show through. And I mean, definitely the moon, right? So I'm going to erase out of that blue there. And maybe some of these buildings down here, a couple of these structures, and I have these little semi-trucks. I'm going to have these little semi-trucks, futuristic cargo little trucks. And that's going to be an opportunity for me too to actually add some copy on there, like maybe the city or the date of the show can be in there. Have a little vehicle here, and some little, you know, I'm making, it's science fiction, right? So I'm making a lot of this stuff up with thought into it, of course. But right now I'm just blocking in the colors just so I know that where the that there's going to be enough white going through here, white shapes, and it's actually going to, in some cases, change my illustration a little bit, because if I need more white space, more paper showing through, dispersed, evenly throughout the illustration, I'll just add an area that I think needs to be the paper, and I'll just without it even being sketched in, I'll just add where I think it should be. Then I'll just create something to fill that space. A little smoke, a little steam, gives you a little kind of an interesting dynamic. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then another thing for this design is to not use black line for all my detail. I think sometimes it's nice to do to use like a blue line. I only have one color, another color besides black. So I'll do some of the, let me put this back on render. So I will do some of this line work and some of the detail work in blue, actually. And then by having opportunity, when I say opportunity, I'm breaking up large spaces with pattern, in this case, like little engine patterns, and then just stuff that I sketched the drawing on purpose, so I would have these opportunities to create these textures and these patterns to create interest, and also not to have these big voids of white space. So a lot of this line work will be in blue, and that way also the ship, it kind of pushes the ship back, a little, gives it a little more subtlety. So, and this stuff will change some when I'm doing the final rendering, but this will give me an idea what I need to do with it anyway. So here's this, and here's more engine parts, made up engine parts. So yeah, once again, I'm just very loosely, I'm just blocking in where the blue is going to go. And it's important because it's only the blue and black are basically the colors that I'm going to use for this. So okay, so that's kind of the spaceship blocked in with all my made up stuff. Okay, so that's that reads pretty well. I mean, I think that's pretty, gives me a pretty good idea what I want to do with it. And then next I'll go to my second color, which is black. So, and of course this stuff will be a lot of the scaffolding stuff, And at this point, I'm still really not super sure what I want to do. Let's give this some weight in maybe give it some weight at the bottom, the big black area right there. And then I can just kind of mock in really quickly these little towers and support systems. Maybe give a little black in there to give it some dynamic, some contrast. So yeah, when I was designing this sketch, I went into it knowing that kind of where the black would go and also working in silhouette forms is really a good tip for doing limited colors, because silhouette is your friend, where you can just show form without showing particular details, because you're limited to just a few colors. So I'm just kind of whipping in this stuff, and maybe I need some more black in here, maybe. And I'm almost just painting, or it's almost to an abstract. I'm just seeing shapes basically right now as I'm doing this. Visually, I'm just kind of just dispersing the color around the illustration. Okay, so it kind of course, there'll be a lot more detail than that, but that kind of gives me a good idea. Here's a little elevator, then I can do some windows. Then I can go back in and, I can add blue lines to all this, to windows. And I want to have a good bit of, since it is a simplistic color palette, I do want to add a good bit of design detail to these. That'll be fun because, it's all made up, so I can create whatever I want, because it's a fiction, science fiction. Okay, go back to black. Maybe I want to just bring some more black into here. Maybe this is black in here. Maybe some of this made up engine stuff is black. So it just kind of gives me an idea of where maybe the hose, the fuel hose. It's a fuel hose because I say it is. Go back to blue here, and this is the little sled that's going to slide this rocket along this little launcher thing. Okay, so and then I think I might want to bring some space up here at the top. So I think I'm going to do like this kind of squiggly black area up here, just to give me some balance to the layout. I think that I always say that a good illustration starts with good design and good composition, and it's very important to get that part figured out in your pencil sketch phase of your illustration. Like I said before, you don't want to go into an illustration, the final execution of it, with actually rearranging stuff or redesigning stuff as you're actually finishing the piece. So it's best to prevent that as much as possible. Of course, you're going to have some moments where you need to rework some areas, but okay. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of blocking it in, kind of getting a good idea. I'm building confidence in my illustration, because going in with confidence, having confidence and a vision of how it's going to end up is important. It gives you just a boost mentally, and excitement basically to do a good job on it, because you have this confidence that you build by blocking in color, having a good composition. I might do part of this rocket black here, and then I'll probably do, since I want to have stars, I want to have maybe glow in the dark. Maybe putting the black space up here, the galaxy, I can put like stars up here and maybe a little planet over here or whatever, just to show a little bit of that, and that gives me my space. And I can go on the blue and do a little texture in the moon if I want to, or I can do some cloud cover to maybe break up that big circle a little bit. I can go back in and take the eraser tool and put some more clouds here, blah, blah, blah. And here's some more towers. Oops. Some more towers back behind here that I didn't have in. So, and having these cranes kind of breaks up that space behind the shuttle, like a spaceship. And it creates kind of like a depth of field a little bit. And it just creates interest, basically. Little windows. And then I'm not sure about the type, the Dave Matthews type, but I will kind of indicate it in here, in the ship in blue. Then I might maybe put a shadow treatment on it. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, some more windows and little made-up detail stuff. That kind of is really fun to do, and it's intricate, and it's just fun to create this, fictional little spaceship. And if you're a science fiction fan like I am, I'm watching Foundation right now, actually, on Apple TV. Really, really cool, cool movie based on the famous book, of course. But okay, so into science fiction, having fun with this. I feel good about the color blocking, where the color is going to go, basically. Add little antennas and whatever. I can maybe knock out a little bit just to repeat some of that texture that I'm doing, this vertical line kind of texture throughout. So that's kind of a nice repeat pattern to create like a rhythm through the design. And that's essentially what I have. The spaceship, the Dmb Enterprise rocket spaceship thing. And so I guess at this stage, I'm ready to take this into the final stage. Oh, and let me point out this too. You see where I'm not outlining, like I'm not on this final execution, I'm not going to outline everything like normally I might just have everything like a coloring book where it's outlined, right? I don't want to do that for this. I just want to have I want to create contrast. I want to create form by just using contrast of the white paper and the blue color. The moon's the same way. I don't need to outline the moon because the contrast with the color is enough to show form. And that just brings it into a different style, a different technique than the I call it the coloring book style, where you're just doing outline and filling it in with color. So it's kind of fun. It's like some of these places here, I won't, like I'll take out the line work of some of this stuff, and it'll just be contrast. Like I won't have that black line in there. Okay, so that's the color blocking, color mapping section, the phase, and I feel pretty good about going into this as a 2-color plus the glow-in-the-dark ink, which is generally pretty clear. It might give it a little bit of a yellow tint. We'll see. I'll have to talk to the printer and work with him on the on that stuff. So, okay, so I will see you at the next stage, which will be refining the sketch, because now I know where I might need to add some structures or delete some stuff, or so I'll refine the sketch and get the sketch really a tight foundation drawing, and then after that I'll go to the final color. All right, see you in a second.